Well, I drove myself to court that morning, but I didn't drive myself home. Dad had to drive me home because I lost my driver's license for 90 days. That's right, lost my driver's license for 90 days. And wouldn't you know it, it happened to be on my birthday of all days. But let me back up and try to tell you exactly how I got myself into that mess. By the way, thanks for joining me. You're watching Life Odysseys. My name's Bobby. My compadre, she's over here in the other chair. Well, I think it all started back when the fall, I can't remember the year, see, 1981, I believe, would have been, yeah. And I was 15 years old when I started my freshman year in high school. Well, if you go back and look at my other videos, I got held back in sixth grade. So that's the reason why I was, able to get my license when I was a freshman. But before, my birthday that fall, school had started late August. And me and my friend Bill wanted to go watch the high school football games. So I don't know how it all come about, but I think I went and asked Dad about driving. Dad got a late 70s Ford Ranchero. I asked him, I said, listen, you care if we drive to the football game? He paused for a minute. He says, I don't care, boys. He said, I'm telling you right now, you just better not get in any trouble. Don't do anything stupid. Cause yourself, attention. You don't want no attention. He said, I don't care. So we started driving. I started driving the Ranchero to watch the football games on Friday nights when school started. So me and Bill would go every Friday night. But then after a couple of weeks, we started. The Friday night deal started to run it into Saturday nights, and you can about imagine it got a little bit carried away as far as just the Friday night thing. But try to fast forward, I got my license, started driving, and you can about imagine I was hell on wheels. Wanted to race everybody. Wanted to race to school, wanted to race home. It was almost like, to see how fast we can get there. So, this went on for quite a while. Well, it seemed like a while. Well, basically about a year. Driving with no sense. Terrorizing the city streets. I mean, my old saying, it was what it was, and that's exactly what it was. Me and Bill would go out and terrorize everything. We had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. We didn't hurt anybody, but we had a lot of fun. So you can't go forever without getting caught, and I'm a firm believer now, and I wasn't then, but Dad told me, I would do certain things to this Ranchero that kind of made it stand out. Like I put a aluminum spoiler on the front of it. I made it kind of look racy looking, right? And if I remember right, we found the right wheels to use, and I mounted up some dirt tires, and we put on the back of it. So it was, it looked cool. It looked cool to me and Bill, but I suppose it was kind of goofy looking. But yeah, we did stuff like that. So that the problem with it was, and Dad even said it at the time, is all you're doing, boys, is you're creating to where you're being noticed. And the wrong people's going to notice you, like the State Highway Patrol. And he was correct. They took note of that stuff, believe it or not. I honestly believe they did. And they knew they had means to find out who the car belonged to and put two and two together. And thinking better keep an eye on this car. So every time I was seen, probably it was they put a check next to something or what I was doing or where I was at or whatever. But yeah, certain things we did that I did to the car would it would make us noticeable and draw the state highway patrol to kind of pay attention. And I'm sure I wasn't the only one, but that's exactly what happened. Well, I played the game pretty well for a good while. I didn't get any speeding tickets, and come the next fall, well, September, whatever. I remember it was a certain day. I went to pick Bill up to go to school, and we was running late as usual. So a lot of people they're not going to know where I'm talking about, but this particular road going towards the school had a big old long sweeping right-hander. So I don't know, we was probably running 80 mile an hour at least, and we come up on that corner. Well, we kind of running too fast to make the corner to begin with. So I had to move over all the way over almost off the left hand side of the road to get the entry into this corner so I could make it right. Well, wouldn't you believe it? As soon as I got over in the other lane to start my entry into this corner, here come a state highway patrolman the opposite direction, headed right for us, right? So, of course, you go, oh, shit, right? So I was committed. I couldn't do anything but be committed to what I was doing. When he come around there, we ran this state highway patrolman off the road. He ran off the road on the right hand, or as we was going to the left hand side, as he was coming the right hand side, running clear off the road. So there's no getting out of this deal, right? So so I told Bill, I said, well, I guess we're going to be late to school, So we kept going. I didn't try to run from him because I knew it was no use. So I looked at my mirror, and he's throwing gravel and come spinning around and coming back towards where I'm headed. He catches up with me and pulls me over. Man, he was madder than a firecracker, man. He said, license and registration and your insurance. And he says, where are you guys headed anyways? I said, we're headed to school. We're running a little bit late. And he says, well, I got news for you. You're going to be late now. So he wrote me a ticket. But the problem was, he come up here to give me the ticket for reckless operation, and he said, well, you're getting a ticket for reckless operation. I can't get you for a speeding ticket because you was going so fast. I didn't have time to throw the radar on, so I don't know how fast you was running. So we didn't get a ticket for the speeding, but we got the ticket for the reckless op. Or I did, not Bill and me. I did. So got the ticket. Had the court date. So in the meantime, I remember the brakes had started grinding on the front of this Ranchero because the pads was wore out. I done wore the son of a bitch out, right? So, so come time for a court date, and the friggin' court date was on my birthday. So I got in the car. I was living with Mom. And got in the car. Dad was going to go to court with me. So I got in the car, drove out there. Excuse me. Drove out there and picked Dad up. He didn't really have a whole lot to say. It really, he knew I knew. There wasn't much use of saying anything, right? So we go to court. Well, the judge was not very friendly, and he proceeded to say a few things about my reckless op, and noted I really didn't have my license that long. He says, I have no choice but to take your driver's license away for 90 days. Well, of course, what are you going to do, right? I just stood there, yes, sir, no, sir, whatever. So that was that. They took my driver's license for 90 days on my birthday. So when we left court, I drove out and picked Dad up. But when we left court, I wasn't driving anymore. Dad was driving. So he took me and dropped me off at Mom's house and never said a word. Never said a word. And because I figured I was going to get reamed upside, up one side and down the other, but he never said a word. So pull up in front of the house. I said bye to him. He said goodbye, and I got out and closed the door, and off he drove. So, so needless to say, when you do bad things, you got to pay the consequences, and I did on that particular deal. But yeah, to throw salt into the wounds, he was mad at the next time I seen him because when I picked him up and drove into court, I tried to be as easy as I could on the brakes. So it was hard for him I can't believe he didn't really notice it about the pads, but he freaking noticed it when he dropped me off and drove it out to the garage because, he knew it then. He could feel it in the pedal and hear it. So when the next time I seen him, I caught all kind of hell, not only for the ticket, losing my license, but running the brakes out and ruining the rotors on the Ranchero. So, yeah, that was one of those deals. But yeah, lost them on my birthday. Can you believe it? But you know what? I didn't really learn my lesson off that deal. I was hell on wheels after I got my license back. But yeah, I'm sure I got another ticket after that, but I don't remember what it was. Well, folks, just remember to subscribe, like, and share. The shares, I wish you guys would share, just hit it with a couple fists, share it. It means a lot to my channel and help my channel grow. And I hope you guys enjoy these videos. And if look back at my other videos and take a look at some of the other ones and leave comments, see what you think. See if I need to improve on something or whatever. Just let me know. So Maggie's laying here on the floor. She's stretched out. So I think that's going to do it for the day. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoy and hope everybody has a great day. And I'll talk to you on the next one.